We lost Lola.
Okay, who did we just lose? Hello, everybody. This is Cindy Kabika, and this is the Soul View. And I am so excited that you are here today. Lorelei dropped out for a moment. She's going to be right back. And of course, all of you know who Lorelei Robbins is. She's our spiritual astrologer. And we also have with us, of course, Shivani Ganel. And we have a special guest with us today. And I'm so excited. As most of you know, we look at what's happening in the news from a soul perspective. And more people today are learning, we're learning that people are using their animals as emotional support. And we have an expert here today. She's an animal communicator. She's a psychic. Her name is Danielle MacKinnon, and she's been on Energized Living Today many, many times over the years. We love her. She's helped us with our animals, and she has an amazing new book out, which we're going to be talking about in just a moment. But Lorelei, if she is back, and hopefully she will come back. Lorelei, yay, you're back. She's had electricity problems today.
I did. Oh, good.
Electricity has been kind of going in and out, and but she's back, and now she gets to light up her life with the cosmic weather.
Well, I feel so good when I see the yellow box around me because I know my sound is working.
Yep, it's working.
Really, again, we're in a new moon energy. We're in the Libra new moon, although the moon's in Scorpio. And Venus is retrograde. So what does all that mean? Well, I just think it's really perfect that you're with us, Danielle, tonight, because my sense is what an opportunity we all have to take our relationship with our animals to a deeper, to really see the magic and the transformation in all relationships, certainly, but certainly in the relationship with animals. So, the planet of communication just went into Scorpio last night, Mercury. Actually, that's your planet, Danielle, as a Gemini.
My Mercury.
And that's and so Mercury in Scorpio now is the time to talk about the elephant in the living room, whatever that means for anyone, calling a spade a spade. In other words, really addressing really directly and honestly. So the possibility and the opportunity for honest, deep, authentic, intimate communication with ourselves and with everyone else is really very much on the front burner now. So, we've got the Mercury in Scorpio, right now the moon, and tomorrow moon in Scorpio as well. Jupiter, of course, which has been in Scorpio for almost a year, and Venus. So there really is this opportunity for a really deep, deep connection. So I think that's good for tonight.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, what's really cool here is that Danielle is also an astrologer.
Oh.
She teaches us, right?
What?
Well, it says that you are, yeah. Well, in the bio, you're one of America's.
I know, but I am not an astrologer. I'm on the other side. Yeah, the bio says one of the top 100 psychics and astrologers. I'm on the psychic side.
Okay. I thought, well, when it said astrologers, I didn't know that about you ever.
No,
so
nor did I.
Yeah. Thank you for that clarification. Because that's what your bio said. So yeah, definitely psychics. And, all four of us have new animals. And I'm talking about Ferris, who we're not seeing right now, but the producer of our show. And, but all four of us here have new critters in our life, and I have another one coming. And so this is just perfect timing. And I've got to tell you, Danielle, I love your book. I love it. And I have this opportunity now to look at myself and look inside myself and see the things that I'm seeing in my critters reflected back to me. And I'm using your book as a roadmap to be able to understand what message they're trying to give me. So, that's the beauty of what you do. So I'm so glad that you're here. I want to say real quick that if you have questions, if you're listening, whether you're on Facebook or if you're joining us here on Zoom, please put in your questions because we want to hear from you today. And Danielle will be happy to answer them. So Danielle, I really want to start this conversation with your story on how you even started doing this and how you became this expert. I mean, you're a best-selling author. You know, people really respect what you do. And how did it all start?
Well, it was never planned. Imagine that, right? Years and years ago, I think 18 years ago, my dog got sick. And when she got sick, we tried everything. She was at the vet, and for days and days and days, we couldn't figure out what was going on. And it was really upsetting. I'm a big animal lover, obviously. So my dog getting sick was the worst thing when nobody could figure it out. And I met a friend in the parking lot of my gym, and she said that there was a pet psychic in town. And first of all, I went, oh, a pet psychic in town, you know, this is amazing. Cause I'd always been kind of told, you know, stay away from that stuff. Even though I'd always been interested, I was taught psychic and you know, it's all, they're gypsies. They're going to get you. They're going to steal your purse, you know, that kind of thing. I know. And as it turns out, I have gypsy blood, I found out. So,
oh, wow.
I know. In Italy, my family were gypsies, wandering gypsies. So, I took my dog to the pet psychic, and he met her and my husband and me. And he connected with her and said, okay, it took kind of like 2 or 3 minutes for him to do this. And he comes back and he says, okay, she's sick because she's anxious. No, she's sick because she's anxious. Well, why is she anxious? She's anxious because you and your husband have been fighting about your mother. And he was right. She told him the right thing. Now, he was close. It was my mother-in-law. We were having a fight about my mother-in-law. So through her anxiety, because she was upset about how we were behaving, she ate corn cobs, which made us have to change our behavior and look at, all right, now what do we do? And so what ended up happening is I heard him say this. This was like an hour-long reading I had with this guy. I don't even know what happened in the rest of the reading, because I went, oh, this is what I'm supposed to be doing with my life. Why am I in the corporate world doing marketing and project management and planning these events? This is not fun. I want to do this. And so I pretty much immediately took a class and then started a business, because way back then you could do that. You know? Nowadays, there's other people, like back then, nobody really knew about animal communication. Mm-hmm. Now I can say it and most people are like, okay. Some people go, okay, but everybody kind of gets it. Back then, nobody had any clue. And I was like 2 years out of my MBA, and my mom's going, what are you doing? You're leaving the corporate world and you're going to go. And I said, yes, I am. So I got my start in animal communication that way. But like, what if you hadn't read the book, what would you say you thought animal communication was?
If I hadn't read the book,
right? If you hadn't read the book.
Yeah, if I hadn't read the book, I would say that animal communication was communicating with the animal to find out what's going on with them.
Yes.
What would you say, Shivani?
Yeah, like when I read your book, it was perfect because I got a deeper level of understanding that really the animal is my teacher.
Yeah.
So before I sort of knew, but same like Cindy, I thought it was more, well, what does the animal want, rather than the opposite way around, you know. Yeah. I'm here to do something.
What about you, Lorelei?
Well, it's interesting because you can't hear, oh, you can hear me. Hey, I have a very good friend who's written a book, and I haven't read your book, Danielle, but the whole idea of that animals reflect back to us what we're feeling and their ailments or whatever, it's absolutely stunned me. So I was really excited to know you were going to be joining us tonight, because again, I so believe that. And it's kind of the first place I go now when something's going on with my animal, one of my cats. I ask myself, okay, so I think you obviously pioneered this, because, yeah.
Well, but I didn't know about this. When I first got into animal communication, I was like, I'm going to go and I'm going to connect with this dog, and I'm going to get this dog to stop barking. I'm going to tell that dog, you stop barking. And I'm going to get this cat to stop scratching and to start cuddling more. And I'm going to tell all these animals what they need to do to be with us humans.
That's what I thought.
I was like, this is awesome. I'm going to be like the problem fixer of all the animals. It just absolutely wasn't what happened at all, because the animals started showing me that their behaviors were on purpose, that their experiences with us were on purpose to help us evolve our souls and learn what we came here to learn. But I didn't really like that lesson. Like, imagine somebody brings their dog to you and they're like, all right, my dog's barking in the backyard all the time. Can't get my dog to stop. You need to tell him to stop. All right, cool. I'll tell your dog what to do. Sure, I can do this psychic thing. I got this. And I would go to tell the dog, and the dogs, all these animals started being like, no, I'm not stopping barking until she learns to manage her anxiety, you know? And like, it sounds really funny, but at the time I'm like, no, I don't want to tell your human that she has anxiety, so you just stop barking because that'll fix the problem. And then the dog would be like, no. So it became this, it's a really weird thing when you think about it. Our animals know us so well. Like, my dog knows when I'm nervous, upset, when I'm hiding something, even from myself, if my husband and I, even if we're tickling each other, or I'm going to go and scare him behind the door. Why I do that all the time, I don't know, but I do. But she knows. She knows, and her whole everything about her changes because she feels the shift. Our animals know exactly what's going on with us even before we know. So I ended up obviously accepting that was happening and that's where this work had to go, but it wasn't necessarily like the super simple, easy, clear, straight journey to get there. Did that answer your question?
It sure did, because, you know, again, you answered a few questions here. One is, as Lorelei stated so beautifully, our animals reflect back to us, what it is that we need. And the other part of that is, when we're on this journey, if any of you are entrepreneurs out there and you think you're going to do one thing, just be open for the ride. Because sometimes you head down that highway and all of a sudden you start getting guided over here, and you have to go there. You have to be willing. And so I commend you for being willing to go there, even though you're like, I don't want to tell that human that.
Yeah. Now it's easier because people have read Animal Lessons and they've seen they've seen my stuff. So they know coming to me what they're going to get.
Yeah.
Kidding. Not so much. Not at all, actually. Yeah, it's much better now.
Well, now I want to, I see that we have questions already pouring in. Sure. And so, Shivani, can you see that? Now, Shivani has her tiny, teeny little puppy. Teeny, tiny little puppy that weighs how much now?
With a big...
I've been waiting for a while, probably 35 pounds or more.
Yeah, you make mine look like a little...
Is he resting his head on your shoulder?
Yes, he is. Yeah.
It's so cute.
Yes. Oh.
Before you read some of those, Shivani, I would... Danielle, she has been having some issues with him being aggressive, and she didn't have that. Shivani has had problems with Akash being aggressive.
Oh,
and it's been a challenge. So I wonder what's going on.
Are you asking me to tap into this situation?
Yes, I am.
Well, Shivani, are you asking me to tap into this situation?
I would love you to tap into
Okay, so how do you is it Akash, like Akashic?
Yeah, AKA-SH.
Okay. So so here's the thing, and it's funny because in my school I'm always teaching my students, and actually one of my students is going on her first radio show for animal communication, and the hosts want her to do readings. And the way that this kind of animal communication works is a little different from the way most animal communication works, because in most animal communication, I would go, all right, I'm gonna connect with Akash?
Yeah. Akash.
With Akash and have this conversation here. But in the way that my work works, I connect with Shivani first because she's in this relationship, and it's really not just about what's going on with Akash, it's about what's going on between Akash and Shivani. So Shivani, are you cool with that?
Yeah, totally.
Okay. So Shivani, when I connect in with you, I see a little bit of a battle of wills in your head that goes on. Part of you is very artsy and creative and flowy. And then there's this part of you that's trying to like nail it down. Like, let's organize this. Let's make, you're Lorelai, I guess that makes sense. Okay. So so there's like there's two sides to you at any given time. And they don't necessarily mesh well together. It's hard to be creative when the other part's going, no, narrow this down, focus this in, and wants all of this almost like organization and planning. And so there's a lot of back and forth, and it does cause a little bit of let's call it challenges with energy management. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm working on it. I'm quite conscious, like there's no bad dog, there's a bad owner, but I need to shift.
I don't know if you need to change. I'm not saying that at all. All I'm saying is that
anyway. There's a battle of wills sometimes, and
okay, so let me go to Akash and get it from Akash's point of view. Let me just meet Akash. Okay, so when Akash comes in, Akash has a Akash is kind of doing this, like doo 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 doo, like a very comes toward me just mellow and easygoing and sweet, but also very unassuming. But I'm going to tell you that unassuming feel to him is don't be fooled, because he's very, very, very smart. Make sense? Oh, yeah. And he wants me to point out, no, I'm sorry, he doesn't necessarily want me to point out, but it's like very clear. I'm very smart, but I behave this way because it's the easiest way for me right now in life. Does that make sense for you? Mm-hmm. It does, because that doesn't...
I thought he is helping me with leadership because...
Well, don't tell me stuff. Let's get it from him.
Okay.
But that does make sense too, right? He's kind of goofy, doofy, but very, very smart. And it's just the goofiness does not cancel out the smartness. They come together. He's using the goofiness to create the situation. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. So now your question is, why does he get aggressive sometimes? Is that your question?
Yeah, and pushy. It's like...
Okay. Wait, Leah. So if you fill it in, then so when you tell me stuff, it makes it harder for me to get it from him, because I just remember what you say. So when I go back to Akash, so what he shows me, he's actually showing me it looks like a leash. He's on a leash, and he's here, and he's there, and he's here. But it's actually, it feels more like you're doing that a little bit. Like you're kind of going like this all behind him. So the two of you are not in sync. Does that make sense? It's not like you don't like each other or something like that. It's like he's all over and you're all over, but he's all over here and you're all over there. Make sense? Mm-hmm. And then he shows me that when you have to say something loudly to him, I see you saying like, stop doing that, like a command, like, hey, it's got to be this way. And then he shows me your shoulders sag, like, oh, I feel so bad that I had to do that. And not bad for him, but bad like you're a failure bad. Like, oh, I'm not, like you feel sad that you didn't do it well enough to not have this situation happen. Does that make sense?
I feel more frustrated, and I noticed rage, like I know it's mine, I get into a rage, which I've never experienced like that.
So, I'm seeing, so what he shows me is you feel that is sad and the shoulders down, like this,
it's like,
almost like you want to give up.
Yeah, it's like, oh my God, this is so hard because the last dog was the opposite.
Yeah.
And I can't compare. So yeah, it's like, oh, this is so hard.
But here's the thing. He shows me that he's like this and you're like this, right? But if you go like this, he will do the same. The challenge here is that you're taking what he's doing to help you learn how to manage your energy. You're taking it personally as if it's against you, but it's actually for you. And this is when he shows me he's got the glasses on. He's like, I know what I'm doing here. Like, you're going to see a lot of smarts come out in him. And so what he wants you to do, what, do you not walk in a straight line? What is the deal? When you guys are walking together, you're not walking in a straight line?
Oh, walking is hard.
Okay, it seems like a real issue from what he's showing me. I see all this going on. So what he wants to help you learn how to be aware of yourself and take steps to shift that versus being aware of yourself and then feeling bad and reacting emotionally. Make sense?
Yeah.
So what he's saying is you're going to start with, why he's saying it this way, I don't know, but you're going to set up a 30-yard length of space in which you guys are going to practice walking. We're not doing around the block. We're not, it's just 30 yards. That's what I heard. And you're going to work up to that 30 yards. And all you can do is you walk with him. And the moment you notice, and this may be one step because of how you react, the moment you notice that he is not doing what you want, or the moment you notice that you're feeling squirrely, like feeling that emotional reaction, he wants you to stop, and he'll stop as well and pull your energy back down into your body all the way down to your feet. What he shows me is you have a lot of energy that goes around here. You're a big thinker. And when you're doing all the thinking, you're not in your body. And then everybody walks like this. Make sense? So the goal is to eventually work up to walking the whole 30 yards without stopping to manage your energy. That's the end goal. But that's weeks away because you're going to get one step, or you're going to start and go, oh, whoops, got to do it. And then you pull yourself back in. He will calm as you calm. And then you take the next step. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Because he's teaching you how to be aware without beating yourself up. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because you do this a lot, and this is how he's helping you. You're very hard on yourself. It's like, I got to do more. I got to be more. I got to push more. And that piece, this is where he's working with you. Does that make sense?
Love it. Thank you. Yeah, cool. It makes sense.
And so what will happen is, as you are working on this, he will, it's all about zigzags with you guys. I don't know why. He'll start walking in more of a straight line, and then you're going to see more of the intention behind what he's doing, because right now you're just reacting emotionally versus being able to step back and go, oh my God, he's doing it right now. Look at him. And you'll be able to see how smart he is and when he chooses to do this and when he doesn't. Make sense?
Mm-hmm. Cool. I'm excited. Thank you.
Cool. So the goal is 30 yards, but probably first time out, it's one step. All right.
Yes.
He's very sweet.
He is. I mean, he
didn't waste any time either. Like, he was like, here we go. Let's go. We're going to do this thing right now. He was been ready and waiting to tell you.
Mm. Wow.
And the reason he even is with me is because of your book that I read. Because when I lost my dog to cancer, also a ridgeback, and I went down the line of, well, I need to find him again, reincarnation, that sort of thing. And then when I read your book, I was like, oh, okay. I trust that the dog I'm attracting will be the perfect teacher. And
yeah, you think you're going to love being taught by your dog.
Well, and I don't know if you remember this, Shivani, but Akash, as I recall, is a Gemini too, right? He's May, end of May.
And he's Scorpio moon, and I
Scorpio moon, like you. So you're having this up. So what I was wondering is, where it might be, Danielle, a jockeying for control. In other words, so you would get to feel more out of control, which would be part of the gift, because you're in this 12-year cycle of expanding this Scorpio moon energy, and so is he, and you guys come together as a family. I mean, that's pretty cool, timing-wise.
I love that.
He elicited emotions I never thought were within me.
Exactly. Right. And yet, and safe to feel. Because Scorpio, I mean, again, no energy goes deeper than that.
Yeah. Thank you, Danielle.
You're welcome. Thank you, Akash.
Well, I want to go ahead and look at some of the questions we have here, and I don't know if either one of you can, and I'm going to see if I can look on Facebook. We're doing a simulcast on Facebook as well.
Galaxy. Oh, no, hang on. That's the mobile. So we don't have a name. Don't feel like I can heal my dogs anymore. What does my deceased dog, can't read that, Hula, have to say about that?
Don't feel like I can heal my dogs anymore. What does my deceased dog Hula have to say about that? I'm trying to really kind of understand what Galaxy J7 Sky Pro is saying. I think it's really about, what does my dog Hula have to say about the fact that I can't heal my dogs? I mean, I don't really meet animals who are saying that they're looking for healing from their humans. The animals usually always say, hey, when my human does this, that, and the other thing for herself or himself, it's going to help me. They kind of go in that route. Animals really look at the big picture of things. So I think that Galaxy J7 Sky Pro saying, I don't feel like I can heal my dogs anymore, while Galaxy is saying, I think this is a negative thing. To me, it comes through as a positive thing, because if Galaxy works on herself or himself, this will, in fact, help the animals in his or her life. Does that make sense, guys? Did I answer that question, do you think?
I think so. Let's go ahead and ask them to write back in so we can, get an answer if she writes back in. And
Okay.
While we're waiting for her to do that, let's go ahead and move on to one of the other questions.
Okay.
We've got somebody named Candy on Facebook, and she says, it's Danielle's. Love you, girl. You are the cream of the crop.
Yay, thank you.
We've got Clarice also sends you hearts, and Cindy. And then we have Valerie over here, and I'll read her comment and question in just a moment. Let's go ahead and take another one from there if you can see it.
I like, hi, Danielle. You are very good. You opened my mind. Yay. That's not me. That's the animals.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Can I talk about Tony's question?
Yes.
Which is, I have 7 dogs. I love them all. They are all unique. Are they happy? So when people come to me for readings, that's in the beginning, when they're just learning about what animal communication is, that's a really popular question. Is my pet happy, or does my pet know how much I love him or her? And I've never had an animal not know their human's true feelings. So all those people who are worried about, I feel like I took him for granted, or I don't feel like I did enough. Have you guys ever felt that? Like, I need to do more for my pet. I'm not giving them enough. every single time I've gone to talk to an animal about it, the animal's always like, yeah, I know. And the funny thing is, the people who overgive are the people who are most worried. So you get someone who's like, I'm worried my cat doesn't know how much I love him. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And I'll start talking to the cat, and the cat will be like, yes, Danielle, I am very well aware because she tells me every day and every night, and and they love it, but animals don't have the same insecurity around love that we have, right? We always feel like we need to prove it. We need to prove that we're lovable, or we need to prove that we love somebody. Animals just love. They've mastered unconditional love. And so there's not that whole concern for them, which is actually why they're able to teach, why they're teaching us. It's actually what my whole book is about. The idea that they've mastered that unconditional love. We have not. They're the ones showing us the way, which is why there's so many animal support groups and animal advocacy. There's a lot of animal support and people desiring to be with animals right now because things are so crazy in the world.
Yeah.
And the animals don't judge. Like I know my dog isn't judging me. Sometimes I feel like my iPhone's judging me. Actually, I have the facial recognition. Sometimes I put my face up there. I'm like, oh, I look pretty tough today. I wonder what my iPhone's thinking. But
That's a good Gemini statement. I wonder what my iPhone is thinking.
No, you guys don't do that. You're not like, oh, this poor iPhone. But my dog would never do that. My dog, our animals have that love for us no matter what. That's why they're able to heal from trauma so much more easily than we are. And that's why so many people now are gravitating toward animals, therapy rabbits. Like, we want that unconditional love. And people, even if they aren't aware of why, they know that they feel accepted with animals.
That really helps me understand, because there is such a rise in people needing to have their animals with them. The number one search in restaurants now is if it's an animal friendly place where they have a patio and you can bring your dog and your cat, and the search engines, just really pick up on that. I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize how popular this is. But people are hurting, and they need their animals more than ever. So I'm glad that you brought that up. The emotional support, that's what it is. Emotional support animals.
And when we have that emotional support, we feel safer to try things out, to make changes in our lives. If I feel like someone has my back, I'm going to be more likely to do my work on myself. And that's what I feel that animals are providing for us.
Yeah.
Have you ever come across therapy animals that take on the emotions and then subsequently get sick?
Yeah.
That's what happens?
So it's hard for me to hear you, so I'm just going to repeat it.
Sorry. So I don't know what's wrong with my microphone. Can you hear me now?
I can.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so what about a therapy animal that takes on the emotions and subsequently gets sick?
It happens. I've seen it happen. I like to try, when people come to me, they're usually coming to me because they're very open-minded and willing to make changes. But animals will often reflect the same ailment that their human has. They'll also often reflect the exact opposite. So, like in terms of, say, personality traits or things that a human needs. So you may get the really lazy human who has the really active dog. They're trying to, all right, it's very clear you've got this dog because you have to start getting off your butt. And yeah, I have seen it, and I don't love the subject because people get really upset, but sometimes animals they're not taking on the human's illness. It's not like they're saying, I'm taking this burden, I'm sorry. The animals don't do that, but they do whatever they can to get the message through to the human, to get the human to do the work. So sometimes that does involve, well, you have gastrointestinal issues, I'm going to have gastrointestinal issues. And here's what's really cool about that. a lot of the time, the person isn't willing to change their diet for themselves, but when their cat presents with the similar dietary issues, they're like, all right, I got to do it for my cat. Here we go. We're going to do this thing together. And that starts getting everybody to feel better. People will do anything for their animals.
That is something that I just faced, Danielle. It's so funny that you bring that up because I have this new puppy that decided he was going to be my dog. And he is allergic to chicken. And that's Trooper. He's real sensitive skin and he's allergic to chicken. And the other day, I had people around me and everybody wanted gluten, and normally it's a gluten-free diet that I have. All of a sudden, I don't know what he ate. I don't know what he got into it, but he was belching and the puppy farts were out. He blasted us out of the room, and I don't know what he ate, and it's never happened before. And I forgot how deadly they can be. All of us were just running from the room and going, oh my gosh, what did he eat? And now I'm looking at myself and thinking, oh my gosh, they brought in donuts and sugar and stuff that I normally don't eat. So that makes sense.
It's one of those things that makes sense, but it's not awesome.
Nope, it's a smelly reflection.
Yeah. But there are good reflections or reflections that help as well. So before we started this, I was talking about, before we got on live, I was mentioning how my dog Tuka doesn't cuddle. She does it in her own way. She clearly loves us, but she wants to do it in the way that works for her. And I've realized through her that I'm the same way. I don't show affection the same way as most people do. And I always felt kind of bad about it. But then I look at Tuka and I'm like, well, you know what? She shows it by sticking her butt in your lap and on your chest and on your head or wherever you're sitting, right? She's 65 pounds and you've got a big butt right here. But I've learned I can totally accept that that's the way she's giving love. So why do I have to feel badly about me and the way that I give love when it's different from how other people give love? So it's that same, she's mirroring it for me. She's demonstrating something that's a little bit challenging because it is hard to have a 65-pound dog constantly trying to sit on you, right? But this is, we have a lot of pictures of this actually. Because every time she does it, it's hilarious. But not when she's doing it to me. But it's her demonstrating her way. And that to me is really powerful. I can accept it in her. So now I can accept it in me.
Beautiful. Well, we have more comments here I want to go ahead and get to on our Facebook page. And for those of you who don't make it to the Zoom, you can always catch us on Facebook and make sure that you like our page. It's Energized Living Today. That's the site where we are broadcasting. We also will be putting this up on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. So just search for The Soul View and subscribe to our channel and let us know if you like us, and like this video here today. And we will put the information in there about Danielle's book. And again, the name of it, for those of you who want to check it out, it's Animal Lessons, and it's Discovering Your Spiritual, what is the, I forgot the.
Oh, no.
Let me look at it.
I don't know. I have trouble.
Yeah, Discovering Your Spiritual Connection with Animals. That's what it is. And it comes in many different ways. So for those of you who like it digitally, you can get an ebook, you can get an audio book, or you can get the hard, the physical book.
So and the audio book just came out.
I know, and I got the audio book because I'm training for another half marathon. So I'm a learn while you burn kind of person, and it gives me the time instead of sitting down and stuff. I can do it, and it's fabulous, by the way.
Oh, yay. Thank you.
And then I get the digital version also, and then I go through and highlight things that I want to remember. So I do both. I
actually have on my website, if you go to animallessons.com, there's the book club is there as well. So there's 4 videos that I made that go along with the book. it's a free thing to sign up for. So that's
Okay.
kind of cool.
Great. So, and the website again is?
Animallessons.com. Or my name, DanielleMacKinnon.com. You can get there that way too.
Okay. All right, great. And we'll make sure that we post the link there for everyone.
Oh, cool.
And on Facebook, one of the things that, let me see. Oh, we've got lots of messages coming in. So let me get back to the page. Facebook is weird how it kind of comes up here. So one of the ladies on here, and I apologize that I lost your name, but I'm not able to just bring up the comments for some strange reason. They went bye-bye on me. And she was asking about her horse. She had this horse until she was for 8 years. And one day she came home and her dad sold the horse. And she never knew what happened to the horse. And she was devastated. And she's always wondered if that horse passed peacefully or still here or what. So
that one would be a hard one for me to do. I unfortunately, okay. I don't even, because it's kind of like finding a lost animal, and it's not really my specialty. Because is the horse alive or not? You know, I'm not good at that, unfortunately. Okay. So I just got to say I'm not good at it.
Okay. All righty. And let's see here. We have Richard, who saw a hawk the other day, and he felt like he was receiving a message, and he's wondering what that was. Was it a message or was that?
So this is Richard, and he saw a hawk. Okay, so let me see if I can get in there. So one of the things about Richard that I pick up right off the bat is he's a little, he's working hard to kind of come out into the world more. He restrains himself a little bit. He just puts restrictions, and this is how it has to be kind of feeling. And the hawk was saying, no, be free. Like literally like just demonstrating freedom for him, because he does that part, you know, the part of Shivani we were talking about that's trying to do this thing with, you know, not the creative part, but the other part, Richard does that same piece. So he's got to break free of some of the, I would call them like ways of being that he thinks he has to follow. Oh. And so that hawk is saying you can just be like, just not do those ways of being. He's always trying to be a good person, but he just is already a good person. So this hawk is demonstrating that for him.
And I can vouch for that. He is a good person.
He doesn't need to earn it.
Right. Beautiful. Okay. Other questions that we have coming in. Can one of you ladies see that?
Yeah. Pat says she has a 12-year-old Whistler wetting in the crate named Dio.
So she wets the Whistler wetting in the crate. Name is Dio. You think that's male or female, Dio?
I would think male.
Okay, I'm going to go with
my sense.
Just, it's easier to say one pronoun. Okay. So I'm going to go to Dio. So Dio is a little, I don't know why, but I'm not going to Pat. I'm going straight to Dio. Normally I would go to Pat and then go to Dio, but I'm going right to the dog. And Dio comes through as a little anxiety, feeling a little nervousness, feeling a little, the visual is eyes are always on me. So there's not a lot of relaxing time and relaxing together time between Dio and Pat. There's love, but not like, hey, let's hang and not have a motive here. We're just going to be together. And so Dio is wanting more relaxing time, more chill time where there's not an agenda. And that will help Pat and Dio relax, which will in turn allow Dio to be in that more relaxed state rather than continually pointing out, hey, you're not relaxed, I'm going to pee. Does that make sense? Yeah. It's kind of like, oh, you're watching me again, you're worrying, here's the eyes on me again. Oh, you know, it's stringing everything, it's heightening everything. And then the message is, this is one of those times, so I'm going to pee to point it out. Does that make sense, guys?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it sure does.
Yeah, that's oh, look, someone says they love my hairstyle. Thank you.
I do too. I think it's fabulous. I'm not used to you. You know, I've always seen you with short hair. So I love it. It's great. And I didn't know you had that curly hair.
Neither did I. Like grew it out. I was like, what is it? I don't even know. Yeah.
That's great. It looks fabulous. Okay. Other questions. And I'm going to continue to check Facebook over here while you read another one.
Well, here's a question. I run a cat rescue, and it is hard for me to communicate with new cats. Many times they are traumatized, so don't talk much. Anything I can do early on after we get them into our safe foster homes? Most issues are not eating well.
All right. So this is not me going to a specific cat. This is me doing this, tapping into this person psychically. It does come back to energy management. It's funny. The people with the biggest hearts also tend to have the kind of the overwhelming, let's fix this, let's go. And you know what I mean? And that's what I pick up here. Like, I want to help so much. But sometimes when you help so much, animals are like, wow, whoa, that's a lot. So what I'm hearing is allowing the cats more space energetically. So what was the person's name who wrote that?
Cheryl.
So what Cheryl can do is imagine pulling her energy back into her body a little bit. It kind of gets like really big and excited, which is great because it's big and excited with love, but animals don't love it when our energy is like that. So just pulling it back in, calming it down, just making it a little bit smaller to give the new cats some space. When they have that space, they can start to feel their own emotions and feel what's going on with them. It allows the two to exist, like coexist, versus excited energy on this cat. Excited love energy, but too much for the cat. So it comes to me, I hear it as, let's bring the love energy in and calm it down a little to allow them to exist together. Does that make sense?
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
And
Good.
And we have Patty. Patty said she adopted this is on Facebook, and she adopted a 7-year-old male. Is it Carrion Terrier?
Okay.
2 years old, or 2 years ago, and this was from the animal shelter. He seems to still be insecure. And, whenever she leaves the house, he's feeling very insecure and feels like he's being abandoned every time she leaves. So wondering what's
did she give the name?
She didn't say, I'm not seeing the name.
Karen Terrier dog.
Yep.
Okay. So we're and I don't need a name. It's just easier for speaking, but totally fine. So as you were reading that, I started tapping into the dog who says that she keeps telling the story of the rescue and where he came from and how there's an attachment that the human has to the story before the rescue. And so the human is holding the story for the dog, but the dog's not in the story. So what that's doing is I see it as a she. It is a she, the human.
The human, yes.
Okay.
It was Patty.
What?
Patty is the woman's name. Yeah.
The name. Okay. So Patty is, the dog is showing you Patty has furrowed brows, and Patty's double checking and making sure everything's okay and not being just calm and the leader and here's how we go. Just kind of not sitting in her power, and then is treating the dog as if the dog isn't in his power. So she's locking onto the story, which is disempowering the dog, and then she's disempowering both of them by holding that. I don't know how else to say it. I know how to say it. We humans, many people bring their animals to me because they want to know, well, what happened? Before I rescued him, what happened? What's the story there? And then the hardest part is when somebody who's rescuing an animal gets like this much of a story, and then in their head, they make it into this big thing. Animals live in the present moment that is how they survive, right? They learn from the past and then they live in the now. We humans, we tend to live in the past, right? And we remember the past, we keep referring to the past. So that's what's happening here. She's keeping him in the past by being attached to that story. She's behaving as if the story is still alive. Does that make sense? So yeah.
So could we also say, since she's basically even using the word abandoning the dog, that she's getting to heal whatever her abandonment issues are?
Well, she will be able to when she realizes that she's not actually abandoning him,
right,
but he's reacting to the story that she's telling to bring this up. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was you just shortcut that whole thing. That was awesome. That was really
she's amazing like that.
Thank you. And it also will help her heal her challenges around safety, security, like going even more than abandonment, safety and security, and being able to move through that. And this dog is in her life to do that. Yeah, that was good. Thank you, Lorelai.
Oh, thank you.
It is really interesting, though, how many times have you met somebody and they introduce their animal to you and they're like, well, he's from Tennessee and he was abused by this farmer and they found him on the side of the road and and when I'm talking to an animal who has a human like that, the animal will be like, oh my God.
I'm over it already.
I want to talk about we need more walks and she's anxious and you know what I mean? Like they're not there, but the humans often are there. So pretty common.
Now I have a personal question.
Yeah.
I lost a dog, meaning that I was going to adopt one. And her name was Gabby, and I picked her out the day she was born, a little morky. She ended up having a liver shunt and died. And so I went out and I started searching and hugged 30 dogs because my heart was open and ready. I'm a cat person, but I was just ready for a dog. And he, when I saw him, there was a soul recognition. And I went back 4 days later and he was the only one left in the litter. And he looked at me and Ferris said, that's supposed to be your dog. So he is here. But what I heard was that he's my protector. And now I'm getting a small dog because I'm doing animal therapy at nursing homes and hospice and children's hospitals. And so I'm getting this little Pomeranian. And I feel...
You don't have yet.
I don't have yet. I actually will meet her for the first time, Gidget, tomorrow night. And I'm flying to New Mexico. My niece's dog had... Huh?
To meet her?
Yeah, to meet her, and that it's my niece's dog, and she said, I want you to have this Pom. So I'm like, okay. He's like your dog is not lovey, but he is protective, and he's around me all the time, and I always feel that. And I'm just wondering how he's going to be responding to this little, she's 3 pounds, she'll be about 5 pounds, and I'm wondering, okay, I've got 4 cats, I've got this other dog, and now this Pom, is it the right thing to even do?
Have you read that book called Animal Lessons?
Yeah, but I'm only halfway through.
You can't get the wrong animal, but like Shivani knows, the right animal is not necessarily the easiest animal. I mean, it definitely looks like if I'm not connecting with a specific animal, I'm stepping back and looking at the whole situation. It looks a little crazy. Like it does look like this is not going to be a super calm household. Doesn't feel like it's a problem as long as you're okay with not being able to control all the aspects of it. Especially, so the new one is 3 pounds, you said?
Yeah. She's 10 weeks. She'll
just get ready because the new one, what are you going to name the new one?
Her name is Gidget.
D or G?
Gidget with a D.
Like the nun?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, Sally Fields played the nun. Yeah. Gidget, and it's Trooper Moon.
Yeah. Okay. So there's going to be quite a lot of, as you get to know her, let's call it bravado in those 3 pounds.
Oh,
I don't know
gonna
what else
need
to
it.
call it. So when she comes through to me, I'm asking, show me a little of yourself. Her chest is out, her head is up, and she is walking proud, and it does not matter that she is just 3 pounds. And so what will she get to be, 6 pounds?
5 or 6.
Okay.
Daddy was 2.5.
So from what I'm seeing, she's going to be one of those animals who, if you didn't tell me that she was 3 pounds, I wouldn't know she was 3 pounds, connecting with her psychically, because the personality is so big. Very, very smart as well, but sure of herself. This is what she'll grow into. Not so much right now, but this is what she's showing me she'll grow into, is very sure of herself. And definitely she will be able to get what she wants from you. So let's just talk for one moment about what you'll be working on with her. You're great with boundaries until you're not. You know what I mean?
Read my mail.
And so there you go. Just going to help you on that piece there and feeling good about it, despite the, I don't know what to call it. She'll be, I don't know, I don't want to say manipulative, but because that sounds negative. She'll know what to do to get what she wants out of you. And there are going to be a lot of times you're going to have to be like, I can't do it, but you're really going to want to. So that's not bad. That's not negative at all. It's just, she's definitely going to, the rest of your household feels kind of calm compared to what's coming in.
Oh, goody. Yeah, everything's really peaceful here. I've got 4 cats. They, I see them a couple times a day. Gracie is the one that plays with Trooper all the time. She's also a therapy animal, and they wrestle all over the place. And she is totally chill with dogs. Loves them. Before the cats, she loves dogs. So she must have been with dogs. So she's fine, and everything's really peaceful. And I have been concerned that when this little puppy comes in, that she's going to be disruptive to the peace.
Yes, she is.
Can I handle it?
Yes, you can.
Shivani's going, if I can do it, you can do it.
It'll just be, it's almost like you have everything in order, and this takes away from your ability to order everything. And, part of that is being okay with it.
See, you can surrender into your flowing Pisces sun with that. In other words, flowing with it, as opposed to the Virgo part of you, which would say, oh my God, the order is disrupted. But, I think it's fascinating. You're meeting her during your own new moon. This is the new moon. I mean, it's in Scorpio now, but it'll still be new until Friday. So you're expanding your family in your own new moon energy. You're a Libra moon. So how perfect is that timing wise?
Oh my gosh. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Now her heart's, I don't know if I want to do this.
I am. You're right. I've been a little anxious about it. And maybe that's why Trooper took off down the road just before the show, which he doesn't ever do. He might be feeling my anxiousness about this, that because it is so calm and everybody gets along, and it's really, people say, oh my gosh, 4 cats. Well, they just, they're decorations.
I just got something, Cindy. You're going to get an opportunity to use your Libra moon to rebalance. So if what Danielle is saying, things will be sort of upheavaled in a way by her presence, you get to do Libra. Libra doesn't like when things are perfectly balanced because it has nothing to do. So you're going to have a lot to do.
I need one more thing.
No, but I mean, it's part of your construct.
None of it feels negative.
Right.
It just feels like it's an adjustment. Yeah. And I'm not trying to say this in a negative way, but you like your control, right? It feels like an adjustment on that dial.
You're not
me control.
She's going to be adorable. She's kind of like new parent thing for you, and double so for you because of how you are anyway. Like any new dog parent would feel this, but then you're you.
Well, let's go ahead and go to some of the other folks here, and I'll check Facebook again. Who do we have, Shivani?
Yeah, I'm just trying to find it. I can't see the newest ones for some reason. Oh, hang on, here we go. Question and answer, got it. But this is from Heidi Fellows. My dog Sammy is constantly trying to steal food to the point that I can't have company over to eat. Oh. I've been trying to teach her to leave it for quite a while, but she can't seem to resist. Thanks, this is great.
All right, so what's the name of the person?
Okay, the person is Heidi, and the dog is Sammy.
Sammy?
Yeah, Sammy.
Okay. I'm not gonna go to Heidi. I'm gonna go straight to Sammy. And when I go straight to Sammy, what I will say that Sammy shows me is that Sammy, the whole food thing, not the only issue. Sammy looks like the feeling I get about how Sammy is there aren't a whole lot of rules for Sammy anyway. Sammy, it's almost like he gets to do whatever he wants all the time.
It's a she.
Oh, she. Sammy's a she.
Mm-hmm.
Sammy gets to do whatever Sammy.
Yeah, she says she. She refers to her as she. My dog Sammy, she can't seem to resist. Well, but she can't seem to. Yeah, she's a she.
Okay, so Sammy, she doesn't have a ton of rules and restrictions on her. So what animals do is they up the ante until the human finally has to deal. So Sammy's got a little bit of, not a rule here, not a rule there. And that's kind of been okay with Heidi, right? That like, oh, this is what it's like to have a dog. Not a lot of rules, not a lot of training. And then we get to the food thing and she can't have friends over. Well, this would be great to have for Heidi. This be the last straw. Like, all right, this is the last straw. I have to deal with this. I'm going to ask Sammy about Heidi. Heidi is, according to Sammy, soft-spoken, really sweet and nice and soft-spoken, but has a hard time kind of putting lines in place, drawing boundaries. Like, isn't like, hey, that's not okay. It's more like, oh, right? So according to Sammy, Sammy's going to keep upping the ante. Well, you think you can't have friends over because of food. There's a whole lot more stuff that I can do, until Heidi starts working on that aspect of herself that doesn't allow her to feel comfortable, basically standing up for herself. And it's funny, but she basically has to stand up for herself with Sammy. And when she does that, Sammy will listen eventually, because this is what Sammy's egging Heidi on to do. But don't expect Sammy to listen right away. Don't expect Sammy to listen right away, because Sammy's going to push Heidi to really get this piece. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Do any of you know Sammy and Heidi? No.
I don't know.
Okay. No. All right. So all Heidi needs to do is start speaking up in various places in her life. The easiest place, the most frustrating place, is with Sammy. And this will help shift the situation with the food as Heidi becomes more comfortable sharing her real feelings. And if Heidi does not do this, Sammy's going to up the ante. Like learn how to open the refrigerator and raid the refrigerator, like.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So if I were Heidi, I'd be like, all right, I got to deal with this aspect of myself now, so that I don't have to, lose all that food in my refrigerator. Making sense?
Very much.
Okay.
And by the way, Richard wrote back in and said, wow, thank you, Cindy and Danielle. What Danielle said makes a lot of sense. Someone that he was with said the hawk was just hungry, and he knew that it was more than that, and you confirmed that, so he thanks you.
Cool.
And then, let me see, Maricia, why is it so much easier to read read for other animals than to read one's own animals?
That's a question I'm asked a lot in my school, because a lot of people come in the beginner class and they're like, I want to do this because I want to read my own animal. And then they get in there and they find it challenging. And I actually tell people who are learning animal communication not to start with their own animals. When we are attached to anything, it makes it harder. Right? If I know too much information about Cindy, it would make it hard for me to read Cindy. If I care too much about the situation I'm in, it's going to make it harder for me to receive the intuitive information. So it's that attachment that really does it. If I'm reading Shivani's dog, but I don't know them, I don't have that emotional connection there of, oh no, Shivani, then I can be calm, I can be in the zone, I can pick up the information I need. So I actually advise people to wait a little bit until they get comfortable with animal communication to be able to do it. Because then you're able to tell, is it me? Am I making this up? Is this just wishful thinking? A lot of the time people think it's wishful thinking. The funny thing is, most of the time, even when the beginners go to read their own animals, they get it right. They just don't trust it. So it's really about confidence. Doing animal communication is about confidence. When I'm doing it, I have nothing. I'm just saying the stuff in my head. It didn't come from anywhere. So it really takes a while to get comfortable talking out of your bum all the time. So that's why I would say having people get comfortable with the craft, or whatever you're going to call it, of animal communication before moving into doing their own animals. But some people never truly get comfortable with animal communication, but they've been doing it so long, they still think they don't trust themselves, and then just try. It'll be fine.
Well, this has been just fabulous, Danielle. I just really, I love this. And I wish that we could get to everybody's questions. We have many questions here. What I want to do is just tell you one more time how to get a hold of Dani. And her book is Animal Lessons. And I guess I'm about a third through it and just taking lots of notes. I got the audio so that I can learn what I burn. That's what I do because I'm going to be training anyway. So I listen and then I come back and I get the digital book, which is very easy to bookmark and put it in there. So I just suggest that it's a great way to learn. For me, it really sets in that way. So, but you can also get the physical book as well. And that's available on Amazon. You can also get it from her website, which is animallessons.com. And she has her school. You can find all about this on her website, Danielle MacKinnon, and we will put the links below. If you're joining us on YouTube, we will put the links below so that you can contact her and find out more information. So ladies, further questions? And Lorelei, you've got her birth date, and I want to know a little bit about her.
Well, first of all, I wanted to say, Danielle, you're coming up on a new 2-year cycle.
Hopefully an easy one, because
you were born, because I believe the soul and the divine make an agreement, and we all come in with exactly the raw materials. Well, you came in while you're a Gemini, you came in with Mars, which is what drives you, what you're passionate about, what excites you, in Aquarius, which is outside the box, ingenious, brilliant, unique, original. Well, Mars is in Aquarius now. So you are coming up on a new 2-year cycle. So in the next 3 or 4 days. So you could feel out of energy. I have been. Like you're like a car coming into the shop to get points and plugs, or you could think about you've just run a race for the last 2 years as a horse, and you're coming into the barn to be groomed and to have the blanket put on you so I would get a lot of rest in the next few days, but it means that you're rebirthing the genius part of you. The part of you that challenges the status quo, that really marches to your own drummer.
So I get to take the blanket off and feel like it's easier in a few days?
Yeah, because you would be allowing this ingenious part of you to express even more. And it's interesting, you're born at a new moon. There are 8 phases of the moon. You're born during the new moon phase, but your moon is in Cancer. Well, there's the psychic, there's the intuitive, that's water. You're a Gemini, but your moon is in Cancer. So you're born during a new moon. Any new moon person is a pioneer. They've come in to bring something new into the world.
Neat. Really, really neat. Thank you.
Welcome.
And I'm really psyched to know that it's gone on this little past few days have been really tough. So,
Yeah. Well, that's because, again, think about it. You know, it's like for the last 2 years, whatever's been driving you, whatever you've been passionate about, you get to sort of let go of whatever and create a new, it's like a new Star Trek. It's like a new Star Trek journey.
That's
like
actually awesome.
Going where you've never been. Yeah.
That's wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Shivani, anything that you want to ask or add or?
Oh, I love you.
I love you too.
We all love you, and everyone's been saying thank you so much. Give her lots of hearts, everybody. If you're on Facebook, go ahead and give her lots of thumbs ups and hearts and stuff like that, you know, if you love her. And get her book. It is wonderful. And I was trying to get ready as I was listening again and trying to, you know, for the show. And I'm making notes, and then I'm kind of distracted because I'm like, I didn't want to stop because it really speaks to me right now with, you know, I'm about to have a house full. But like I said, my cats are so laid back now that I don't see them. Otherwise, I wouldn't have a need for a dog. So they just kind of chill out, and I'm like, I need companionship.
Oh, it's coming.
Oh, goody.
Spades, it's coming.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for having me. This was
Thank
really
you
fun.
so much. And again, everybody will leave all the information below. And we love you so much. And of course, I love you, Shivani, and I love you, Lorelei, and I love all of you out there. And until next time, I just want to say, have a great time and namaste.